Hi, my name is Aishman Roy. I'm doing assignment 5 for 2560. My student number is 110168184. Let's start off with question number 1. I'm going to show off server.co, how I implemented everything which has been said. So the code on the left hand side is server and then client is the second half. So I implemented two-way communication between the server process and the client process. In server, I created the FIOs using the MKFIOs and opened the client to server for reading and open the server to client for writing. The server reads one character at a time and responds the fixed string I've received your message. In client, I opened the server FIO for writing and the client FIO for reading. Um, the client reads the input from the keyboard and using the get char and sends each character to the server and waits to receive acknowledgement string back. Let's run this real quick. I can just compile it real quick as well. So client.c client. So we can see that, and then we can compile this too. I've already got the scripts and everything, so we should be good. Server.c server. So that slash server and then that slash client. Let's write, hey, I received your message. It does show 3 times because it depends on like message, I think. But but yeah, clearly works. Let's move on to the next question. Um, I can close. Can close. Let's just focus on this one. Then let's move on to question number 2. ARQ2.c. So this is the code. For question 2, I rewrote the original game C program, which used anonymous pipes. So it uses named FOIs, FIOs, and then the original game. The logic is identical to the original game, with a referee and 2 players assigned 4 FOIs, toot input and toot output, and TIT input, TIT output. Referee forks twice to create 2 children, TI, TOT, TIT, and each child opens its FOIs and waits for a single by turn signal from referee. When the child receives the byte and rolls dice using time, prints the current points, sleeps 5 seconds, writes 1 byte back to the referee. Referee alternates between TOT and TIT by writing a token for their input FIOs and reading a response from their output FOIs. Once player reaches 50 points, the child prints a 1 and calls kill. This demonstrates the same coordination logic as the pipes and named FOIs. And then let me just GCC it. ARQ2 ARQ2.c. And let's just run it. It does take a minute, so you can just wait. and it hits 50, and it says game and turn ended, right? Let's move on to question number three. Um, Basically, we're doing rule number four, and in the program I call pipe FD, then immediately close FD00 and it's close and read end. I install a signal pipe handler using the signal pipe handler. My handler prints caught the signal pipe and signal, and then I write FD1 message stern message because no process is reading from the pipe. The write fails and the kennel sends sig pipe to the process. My handler prints its message and then writes return and calls return -1. Final, I call the pre-error pipe problem, which prints broken pipe, and then I can just show the output right here. Q3. Yep. Thank you so much. That was my assignment 5. Have a great day.